Hi, this is Aaron Friedman, one of the college football coaches at DFS Army, and I'm here to talk about the Friday slate. We have a decent four gamer, so you can watch some college football as we watch game one of the MLB wild card. But anyways, on to college football here. My screen, you can see our domination station. That's our optimizer here. And I'm going to go through some of the settings and some of the things I do before my projections and before I run the lineups. So we have a few different optimization settings. Generally, I'm doing two uniques here to allow for some unique lineups. And then usually I only make 20 lineups or whatever to get in the 20 max. I don't usually do like 150 or any of those contests. Super flex, you're generally gonna get 100% quarterback, so I don't really touch that just because most of the time it's gonna give you 100% quarterback. And then flex, same thing. I'll leave it alone. Um, Today's a pretty wide receiver heavy slate, so and as you see, as we make lineups, you're going to get a lot of wide receivers in flex just because that's how the slate is. When there's a lot of running backs, it will be different. Um, I don't touch the randomization because randomization affects every player. And you can see down here below, I'm adjusting guys manually. So I boosted Horton a little bit. I like him a lot on DraftKings. Same with Palmer. So they were initially projected as 19 and 18, but I give them more fantasy points to get more exposure. I know in NFL, stacking's big. Stacking's really specific for college football because you have a lot of dual threat quarterbacks, or the receivers aren't great, and then you don't want to be forced to have certain players. Um, One I do like for today is Ricky White is somebody I want to be heavier on than the field. So I'll do Ricky White. I'll probably have to force him in some lineups. But if I'm playing Ricky White, I want the quarterback Brumfield. So I'll do exactly one of Brumfield here. Um, he's one of the most expensive wide receivers. Um, But the thing is that pricing is kind of relative. There's some extreme value. So you can play a lot of the guys you want on DraftKings. So Ricky White I boosted to 19. Um and then if I'm just not getting somebody, that's where I'll do exposure minimum and put like 10 or so. Um at first I'll do like 99% for the global maximum exposure. What that does is Um, generally, it just shows you how good of a play it is for the base projections. So, anyways, I made some projection changes, and then I ran the optimizer. So, if it's a core play for me, I want 70%, and then anything else lower because of the volatility of college football. And this is a personal preference. You don't want to It really depends on how aggressive you want to be and on the size of the slate. Um, on a main slate, I don't like being over 70% on guys, but on a smaller slate, you do have to take some stands. So let me change it to 70% globally and run it again. And then, I don't know, it generally moves pretty quickly. One thing you can do if you're wanting to see less guys, one thing I did was raise the fantasy point percentages to a minimum of like 5.44. This way you're not gonna get that's why my player pool is only at 51, down from 72. But these guys generally aren't going to be in your lineups anyway. Um, Basically, if they're below 7 or even 10, really, they're kind of useless. So this helps you, filter out the field. Usually, I'll sort guys by the team, and then that way I can just make projections for all the Colorado State guys and then move on to Houston and so on and so forth. Um, it's cumbersome, but the randomization I feel like doesn't really do a whole lot because we have great projections, and what you're doing here is you're changing it globally for every player. I For some sports it's great, like where there's high variance, like golf, or baseball. Randomization is good. Even basketball, where you know players have sort of a base level of performance, but they might be a little up and a little down. But for college football, I don't love it. I'll just What I'll do is I'll just treat guys one on one, and then I'll update their projections to get more or less of guys. Okay, so now here what we did was we did 70% um max exposure, and I'm mostly happy with this. I like Horton a lot on, and don't be afraid to like double stack guys without the QB either, because the QB can be very pedestrian. And so in this first lineup, you see we get Ross Simmons and Horton, but we don't have the quarterback, and that's okay because um, Ross Simmons is a real value here as the wide receiver too. So it's kind of just the way pressing falls, and you don't need to worry about the QB. Um, so I boosted Brumfield a little bit. I don't know if I want 45%, but I do want a fair amount. Um, these are the guys I'm highest on: Cordero, Hennigan, and Brumfield. I do want some Thompson. So I'll probably, just add some minimum Thompson here. And let's see, I'm fine with 70% Cordero. I'm fine. 50 and 45 are fine here. Let's give Thompson like 20%. I do like Palmer quite a bit. I do like Grant. I want Grant to be um, my highest own running back here. So I'm fine with these. Again, running back isn't great. It's a tough spot for Robbins. Um, Wide receivers, I like this a lot. Sometimes I'll even go down on a main slate just to get more variance in here. I might boost up McKee a little. But yeah, basically this is what you do. You kind of I'm not too rule based here, but I do like modifying projections. I might boost up. How much Priestcorn am I getting? I like him quite a bit on both sides. Okay, 45's fair, but so here you're gonna see a lot of wide receiver in the flex lineups. Horton, probably a lot of Horton, also because he's the last game. And one thing our the domination station, will do is it will force a player from the last game to flex position, um, which sometimes it's useful if you feel like a guy may not go, but usually I just leave that checked. But you're gonna get a lot of Horton here because one of the best receivers in a late game. So then Cooks, so these are very receiver driven flex lineups because that's where a lot of the great plays are. But you see, I didn't touch this flex position, so um, that's about it for now. I'll try to do one of these for tomorrow, and let me know in our Discord if you have any questions.